Well, hello and welcome back to another Pony and Wolf Productions video. My name is visualbrony and I am, as always, your host in this reading. Please, if there's a big red button down below, remember, even Blackjack knows that pressing a big red button is what they're there for. And it helps the channel. It's totally free. And I would really like to go that number go up. Also, like the video if you like it, and dislike it if you dislike it. You know where that button at least used to be. So, today we are going to read the story My Student, My Friend, My Twilight by overlord-flinx, who is an author that we have covered on this channel before, with different stories, so I think the one that you might know best is Know Your Mare. So, let's get right into this and see where this is going. How long has it been? Perhaps a year? 2 years? My, how the days fly by. Forgive me, I did not introduce myself. At times like these, introductions and other formalities seem to just skip my thoughts. I am Princess Celestia, ruler of Equestria on the whole, alongside my younger sister Princess Luna. Normally, I would carry on with other formal introductions at this point, but the idea of doing so with the thoughts currently in my head seems almost ridiculous. If you could spare me a moment, I would be honored to share my thoughts with you. Judging the fact that you haven't left as of yet, I will take it as you want to hear my story. Very well. For the first part, allow me to take you back to those foolish days of fumbling around with the unknown and freshly given. Oh, it wasn't me who was foolish. For days like that, we would have to venture as far back as 1,000 years ago. No, the days I am speak of are in comparison much earlier, and involving my actions far less. Shelves towering up to the dark and spinny ceilings, perfectly crafted tables and stalls for reading, made of teak and mahogany no less, and not a single book out of place. To the young filly, Twilight Sparkle, she had finally found her haven. Only more so was that idea of a perfect haven reinforced to her as that majestic princess that so graciously approved her into the training under her own guidance walked in beside her, white wings folded nicely against her frame. "Does this all fit to your liking?" Twilight shuffled her feet a bit in surprise from Celestia's sudden words. She staggered for words, all of her years of studying any work of magic and knowledge quickly failing her. It was magic kindergarten all over again. However, Celestia tuned in on the filly's excitement and moved out in front of her, eyes glancing down to look at the little filly. The princess managed a small chuckle as she said, "I will take your actions as a powerful yes." Yes, Your Majesty." Hearing those words coming from such a young filly seemed out of place for the princess. Guards, nobles, and the citizens called her by Majesty or Highness. But little fillies and colts seemed a bit too innocent to her to be addressing her like that. If she was to take this one under her wing and horn, she would need to nip this right in the bud. "Please. Your Majesty seems far too formal for the sort of relationship we'll be sharing." Twilight blinked confused, the first act of an average filly as of yet. "Simply call me Princess Celestia, until such a time as you feel comfortable with just Celestia." Protest was the first thing that came to Twilight's mind, but she quickly rid herself of that idea before she crossed her teacher and princess in the wrong way. Okay, Princess Celestia. But I think it will be a very long time, if ever at all, that I will simply address you by just your name." Honesty. A good trait for a student. Celestia nodded and placed a gentle hoof on the filly's back with another soft chuckle. "We needn't worry about that for now. We have all the time it will take for you to master magic before we even need to worry about the time it will take for anything. For now, I will be your teacher and you will be my student." She was filled with so much potential, but even more remarkable, as the years marched on with her under my guidance and teaching, that potential expanded more and more. Even if she hadn't taken the position of my apprentice, I have no doubt in my mind that she would have only expanded in her greatness just as much. Talismanic, ceremonial, invocative, sympathetic, illusionary, divinatory. There was not a way of magic she couldn't master. However, social elements didn't come so easy to her. In fact, even now I have reservations as to if she was truly grasped it. Even so, many years ago, I could see that she had potential in that as well, just like everything else she had ever tried. So high above the bustle of Canterlot, every pony below looked just like little ants with the excluding of some sections of Pegasi fluttering by the royal balcony. Still watching the passerby, a teenage Twilight Sparkle wrote a few notes down into her log, laying on the ground beside her. While her horn controlled the quill etching into the book with a magical grasp, Twilight failed to notice her teacher come up beside her. "Twilight?" Celestia called out with some volume so that she could startle her apprentice. Sure enough, Twilight tensed up and accidentally tossed her quill off the edge of the balcony in the sudden surprise, breaking her concentration with holding the pen. She quickly took a full turn back to see the princess, quickly losing any tense nature she was having. "Oh, it's only you, princess. I was just taking a few notes on some of your subject's consistent patterns." "Taking notes on consistent patterns? Is that what mares today do for fun?" "It's not for fun, princess. It's for research." As Twilight corrected her princess, they both could hear a distant cry from below of, "Who's throwing pans?" Of course, research as always. Twilight noticed that her book of notes began to levitate off the ground and moved towards Celestia. "But I think that's enough studies today." "But princess!" Celestia threw a single hoof up. As for now, she wasn't having a debate. "I will be hosting a small party with some nobles throughout Equestria tonight. And as always, I'd be most honored if it were you to come with me to it." "Princess, don't you think it comes off as a bit off?" Twilight found herself unable to say her exact words and feelings, unable to make her teacher uncomfortable. "I mean, if you keep inviting your student to all your events, it won't look as prestigious as having a gallant knight or noble around, right?" In return to this, Celestia only smiled and placed the book on a desk within the room behind her. "Twilight Sparkle, there's no pony in the world I would rather have by my side than you at these events. You are far more than just my student." A hoof found its way to Twilight's mane, patting it warmly. "You are also my friend." And what a friend she was. It had been 1,000 years since I had a friend like her. For as long as those years stretch back to, I've been very lonely. My years much unlike none other. Accepting friendship is not an easy task for me when I know that I will outlast them by so very long. But Twilight Sparkle is different. She personifies some of the best traits my old friends embodied. Wisdom, a headstrong nature, tenacity, and prospect. It was her prospect mixed with all these that really amazed me. At times, when I'm alone with my sister, I feel a bit prideful when I speak of my work with Twilight. I'm definitely aware that, even if I hadn't come by, she would have grown into just as mighty a pony. But even still, I am proud to know that I helped raise her to the level she is. Even more so, I was gifted enough to have such a tentative student as my own. I was honored to have a friend with such traits as her. And above anything in the world, perhaps this very universe. "Sister?" "Yes, Luna, were you saying something?" "I was. Were you not heeding your attention to my words?" "I'm sorry, I just had something flash through my head." "Twilight Sparkle?" "Yes, how did you know?" "If it's not Twilight Sparkle, sister, it is I or our kingdom. Seeing as that we are home, and you are blatantly ignoring my words, it must be the first of three." Did you say something? Sister! I'm only teasing, but you're right. I was merely having a thought. I ask that thou explains it to me, for I see that my story will not be able to continue as long as this thought consumes thy mind. Again, sorry, Luna, but you see, without you around, she had been the only one I found warmth in talking to. I mean, after you were sent away and Starswell was, well... My point being that it had been a long time of me being alone. That much is highly certain. That's why I feel almost blessed. No, that's why I do feel blessed. I was blessed to teach her. I was honored to have her as a friend. But more so, I was given a miracle to even know such an amazing mare. Not since my own sister have I ever been so blessed. My student, my friend, one of my greatest gifts. Okay, hello and welcome back to Common Thomas Visual Pony, where I'll remind you that you can support PonyWolf Productions through the links down in the description below. Every little help is needed and very much appreciated, and now let's get into the meat of the story, because I want to say a few things. Okay, now, Celestia talking about her experiences teaching Twilight is definitely one of those things that I think she would talk to other ponies about, because let's face it, Celestia is proud of Twilight like heck. Like, she's proud of her as fuck. Twilight is basically her legacy, her living legacy. And what she says here at the end, my student, my friend, one of my greatest gifts. That can mean so many things. It can, on one end, it can mean that Celestia has fallen for Twilight. I have seen so many people shipping Twilight and Celestia. However, it can also mean that she's seeing her as a kind of daughter, you might almost say. You know, that she's proud of Twilight because she sees herself as a motherly figure to Twilight. Which also I see a lot of people making their headcanon in the fandom. However, what I also see here, what it could mean, is that she's simply proud that she helped this young mare who had a lot of potential to reach the level that she's at. And the one of my greatest gifts here could mean not a gift to her, but her gift to the world. Meaning she's proud of her role in shaping Twilight. See, just this last sentence here, one of my greatest gifts, can mean so many things, but the end is made so much better through it. Anyhow, this is all the time I have for this video. I am Visual Pony, sincerely yours, and I hope that this video finds you well in body and mind.